Alright, this is how it should have been. So this is how it should have been. Big Eye should have been not generic. It should have been 2 spellcaster types, level 7 to create. So like stuff like High Priestess, Dark Magician, Gaga Magician would have been able to create them. That way only a select few would be able to exploit this awesome Exceeds power and whatnot. Same for Dracosack. Dracosack is a Phantom Beast, a Mecha Phantom Beast, so it should have been requiring 2 7-star Phantom Beasts. I mean Mecha types. I mean machine types. There should have been 2 level 7 machine type monsters to make them, since the Phantom Beasts themselves are, the Mecha Phantom Beasts themselves are machines. Then you can use like 2 level 7 Karakuri Synchros to make them, or 2 Machina Fortresses, 2 Fusilers, you know, however way you can manage to get 2 7-star machines on the field to make Mecha Phantom Beast Dracosack, as opposed to being generic, which, you know, any deck that can put 2 7s on the field can instantly create a Dracosack or a Big Eye. So if they were specific as opposed to being generic, then they will be used sparingly, as opposed to just being splashed in every deck, which a lot of players don't like. Specifically, they don't like it being largely used in Elemental Dragons, because you can make Dracosack and Big Eye multiple times in a game, which people don't like. All the stats are pretty much the same and whatnot, so all I changed was that they would require a monster of the same type as them, or 2 monsters of the same type as them to summon, so it makes them more fair, more exclusive, makes them more special as opposed to being just a generic effect that just anyone can use. Also, just imagine if they didn't have effects. What if they were just generic ranked 7s that, you know, as long as you could get 2 7s on the field, you could create? Because no one will really, especially when it comes to Elemental Dragons, why use 2 dragons to make a 26 that has no effect, that when you could just drop Blaster, which is a 28? You know, so that right there is a scenario that will make it where it's like people won't complain as much, specifically with the fact that, you know, what people don't I hate when people complain about Elemental Dragons as if Elemental Dragons are bad. Like if Elemental Dragons had Dracosack's ability, or Elemental Dragons had, you know, Big Eye's ability. But the Elemental Dragons don't have these 2 monsters' abilities. These monsters have those abilities, and they want, you know, Elemental Dragons to get hit. That makes no sense at all, because Elemental Dragons themselves don't have Big Eye and Dracosack's abilities. Big Eye and Dracosack have those abilities, and those are the abilities that you don't like. Those are the ones you're having a problem with. So as opposed to figuring out how to beat, you know, these prompts, and I don't even consider them prompts. I could beat Big Eye and Dracosack all day, every day. Not a problem for me. But apparently a lot of players do have a problem with them. So, you know, they want the easy way out, and they want the Elemental Dragons to get hit. You know, they want certain things banned or restricted or something. Like, what's funny is, what would make sense to ban, if there was a banning, I don't agree with banning, but any of the Elemental Dragons, but if you were to ban Elemental Dragons, the baby forms should be the ones to be banned. That would make sense. Ban, restricted to 1 of each, whatever, but mainly ban. Like if you ban them, well then that make it hard to drop 2 7s on the field in the same turn, you know. And of course Super Rejuve will have no no ability. Super Rejuve will have no use because you're not pitching any dragons. So Super Rejuve have no effect. So it has no use, which is another thing that gives Elemental Dragons as an archetype, as a deck design, it gives it its power is the generic stuff or the specific stuff you could throw in there. Super Rejuve makes the deck have a lot of draw power and, you know, spam, as it were. It's not the Elemental Dragons themselves, it's what you do with them that makes them spam. It makes them at the point where a lot of people are complaining. But when they complain, they don't complain the right way. They complain about the Elemental Dragons. The dragons should have been created. And in reality, Super Rejuve shouldn't have been created. That's what you mean. Because that's what's giving you a lot of the extra pluses. Because it lets you plus spells and traps. You know, if you run spells and traps in the deck, of course, it lets you plus a lot of other cards other than just dragons or monsters. You know, so the Elemental Dragons are a great archetype, good archetype, whatever way you want to look at it. They're good, you know, generically. They're good just when you put them together. They're good for, you know, as a design. But what people really have a problem with is what players are doing with it. Specifically what players at the OCG has done, and then for some stupid reason TCG players copy. They just dick ride the shit out of what OCG players do. So if the Japanese play, you know, the rank 7 Big Eye Dracosack build, then all the rest of the world is going to do the same, which makes no sense. It's like, why can't we be different? Why don't we appreciate the Elemental Dragons for what they are? Why don't we play them individually in different decks, or play them together, but play them creatively? You know, I use Elemental Dragons in my Assault Mode deck. I use it so I can synchro. My goal is to make Assault Mode. You know, my goal is not to make Big Eye Dracosack all day. No, Assault Mode all day. That's what I'm trying to do. So to me, Elemental Dragons were great to help me with the consistency of my Assault Mode deck. And it fits the deck properly because Assault Mode himself is a dragon. So when I draw Assault Mode itself, start Assault Mode, it's not really a dead draw since I can use it to summon a monster that could win me the duel, or just drop a 7-star, summon a 1-star to synchro, Stardust, Assault Mode activate. It works. So it's just great in general, and it gives me extra power. You know, so I consider Elemental Dragons right now, you know, as an Assault Mode support. You could also, you know, use it individually in different decks, redux. You know, it's pretty great because it works like Monster Reborn, so it helps a lot of combos out. It helps you build certain strategies in decks that normally didn't have those strategies. Now, this video is not about Elemental Dragons. I'll just point out that Elemental Dragons make these two specifically a lot, which is why these two not being generic, you know, would have been better. Would have been better for them not to be generic, so that way Elemental Dragons would have been able to shine on their own with their own support, because they could have made rank 7, you know, dragons for them, which they still could, but you know, we haven't yet seen that other than, you know, what, Gaia Charter, you know what I mean? But no one really plays Gaia Charter. I do sometimes, but I do make Big Eye and Dracosack more than any of the other rank 7s. But to each their own. And this is how it should have been, Big Eye and Dracosack.